Hey everyone, second hike of the day on Saturday, June the 3rd. It's around 2:30 p.m. I'm a little behind schedule, but I think I should be able to finish this hike by 6:30, 7 o'clock. I am in the Craggy Gardens area of the Blue Ridge Parkway on the west side, hiking the Snowball Trail, which leaves the parkway and heads into Pisgah National Forest in the Great Craggy Mountains. The trail starts with the Mountains to Sea Trail crossing at Beetree Gap before you get to the Craggy Gardens picnic area, and I'm facing roughly 550-foot climb initially out of the gap, which is around 4,800 feet, to the top of Snowball Mountain, which will be the high point of this trail above the 5360 contour. I don't know the exact elevation. From there, I drop into a pretty steep gap and climb up to what is the highlight for many people, Hawkbill Rock, which is supposed to be a really steep cliff with great views of the Great Craggy Mountains. But the ultimate destination is to continue beyond that to the former lookout tower site on Little Snowball Mountain. This is a bit of an unusual lookout tower hike because the lookout tower has been disassembled, but you're still required to hike to the north sub-peak of Snowball Mountain. The site is actually not on the main peak, but I think it's half a mile on a minor peak. They just call it Little Snowball North on the map. So to actually complete this challenge for this hike, I have to hike all the way to the peak with the lookout tower site, and then actually drive down to the Big Ivy Historical Campus, where they built a replica in the 1960s of the original tower. So it's a hike and a drive. So hopefully the road that I started at, it goes down to where the campus is, but it's going to be a gravel road. Might be a tough drive, but I better get moving. The trail is going to be 3.6 miles one way, so I think 4 hours is a good round trip estimate. The condition of the Snowball Trail is pretty good so far. I already climbed up Snowball Mountain and I'm descending. The climb went by quicker than I expected and was not hard at all. And now I'm descending about 600 feet or so to an unnamed gap, and then it's just like a steep 200-foot climb up to Hawkbill Rock, which I can see through the trees. I can see that and Little Snowball Mountain. So most of the climbing is actually going to be on the way back. I think it's less than 1,000 feet of elevation gain out to Little Snowball Mountain, but well over 1,000 on the way back. So I just have to mentally prepare myself for the last part of my hike being the toughest. But so far, so good. The trail on this narrow spine connecting Snowball and Hawkbill Rock is a really nice stretch. It actually would have been magical a couple weeks ago. There's some mountain laurel left, but there's also a lot of rhododendron that have already bloomed and withered away. So this is an under the radar trail for flower hiking. Here's what is that? Is that rhododendron? No, those are like azaleas, I think. No. Yeah, those are rhododendron. I believe this is the cliff area of Hawkbill Rock. Not much else to choose from. Some more rocks down there. Pretty decent view. Get a look at the western Great Craggies. Those double peaks there. Lane Pinnacles on the right. And Wolf Den Knob, Rich Mountain. I don't know the rest. And then we have that really narrow ridge that I just came down from Snowball Mountain with all the mountain laurel and rhododendron. And we get a view to the east of the biggest peaks in the Great Craggies. And then I believe that peak in the distance there is Blackstock Knob. So pretty good views. Not too shabby. I recommend using the South Toe River Mount Mitchell Big Ivy map that I've used before in the Black Mountains because it also includes the Craggy Mountains area. So I started at Beetree Gap and I ascended to Snowball Mountain and dropped, and I'm currently at Hawkbill Rock, and it's Hawkbill, not Hawksbill. It's kind of weird to say without the S. Now I have the much longer portion of my hike, which is the drop into Little Snowball Gap, climb beside Little Snowball Mountain, and then turn around at the North Peak where this camera is. That's the former lookout tower site. So most of my elevation loss and gain is going to be this next part. On the backside of Hawkbill Rock, there are some huge trees. That one's at least 4 feet, maybe 5 feet in diameter, and I just passed another bigger one up there that's just blocked by more trees from a clear view. But these are some huge trees. Pretty cool. Glad they're still alive. So many really big old growth trees out here. I'm surprised because it doesn't seem like this area where I'm at is really difficult to get to for logging. But these rival some of the old growth stands I've seen in the Curtis Creek Mackey Mountain area. Nothing compared to the Smokies and Joyce Kilmer, but still pretty awesome. A lot of trees this size. This is pretty nuts. I've seen probably about 20 this size. I think at this point, I would say this is secretly one of the best flower hikes I've seen in the state. And it won't be crowded like a lot of the other ones. You just have to catch this probably mid to late May. A lot of the mountain laurel's doing fine, but most of the rhododendrons all wilted up except for a couple odd men out that bloomed late. But this is really a spectacular flower and tree hike. I'm almost to the top. I'm at the turnaround point of the hike, the former lookout tower site on the north peak of Little Snowball Mountain. This is 4,740 feet in elevation, and unfortunately, because the tower is gone, there are absolutely no views. You can see that the tree growth is pretty low here. It's probably all cleared, when they first put the tower. But I mean, everything up here is only 10 feet high. So if the tower was still up, you'd get some pretty phenomenal views. But oh well. Honestly, the forest and the flowers almost made the whole hike worth it. But I'm gonna drink some water, rest up in the shade, turn around and go back. Okay, I'm just about to finish the hike. The parking area is about 100 feet down the trail there. It's going to be 3 hours and 35 minutes of hiking time and 7.2 miles round trip. It was definitely quite a bit harder on the way coming back. There were 2 sustained climbs of over 500 feet. I think in total, the hike probably has around 2,000 to 2,200 feet of elevation gain, I would guess. If you're not interested in doing the lookout tower, if you're not doing the challenge, then you could easily go to Hawkbill Rock and back in probably about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours. I'd estimate that. I haven't looked at my GPS, but that's probably around 3.5 miles. It's a nice view. It's not spectacular, but it's a lot less crowded than other trails in this area. So that makes it around 14 miles of hiking today in 7 hours, probably close to 4,000 feet of elevation gain. I got to bag 2 ranked 6,000 foot peaks and 2 unranked 6,000 foot peaks, a county high point, and 18 out of 24 lookout towers on my list. So I'm getting close to finishing both of those challenges by the end of this year. But now I have to go and drive down to the lookout tower site just to stop by and make sure I was there. Hope you guys enjoyed the videos. See you guys next time. Well, here it is at the Big Ivy Community Park. I don't really feel like going up it, not really at any point, but now I can say I was here and finished this hike and drive. Got some historical buildings, all replicas, I guess. Now it's time to eat.